To the death, then.
Now this is a fight.
You are the only one who can save Valhalla.
We have an agreement, then.
Yes, Karak. We agree.
And I have a plan.
We're all gonna die.
What's wrong with this guy?
Welcome to ToV Live. It is Valhalla time.
Valhalla time.
Woohoo! Welcome everybody to this recording of the ToV podcast in mini version tonight, because we're basically talking about what we talked about last Thursday, but with new people. That's what we're here for. Some of these guys couldn't make it, and I invited someone else on. So tonight, and by the way, hi, I'm Ryan, Tales of Valhalla, if you didn't know already. And that trailer that you just saw, last 3 episodes of Tales of Valhalla, The Aftermath Chronicles, Season 3, first Episode 8 premiering this Wednesday. Gonna have a lot of fun these next few weeks doing that. But tonight, we are gonna go through, talk about what's happening with the press release for Heroscape coming back again, as well as talking a little bit about the stream video that Renegade, it's Renegade, right? Renegade,
Yes.
yep. That Renegade.
You can pronounce it Renegade if you really are feeling fancy.
and we had Rogue Idealist and Joe watch that, and so we're gonna get some comments from them on that tonight. Not much to say, but you know, that's why it's just a little. It's going to be a little bit shorter of a podcast tonight, but still kind of a long stream, because after we're done with the podcast segment, we are going in preparation for episode 8, season 3 of Tales of Valhalla: The Aftermath Chronicles. We are going to look at some of the stop motion work that I did before even starting season 1. Go through a little bit of commentary of season 3, just to get ourselves revved up, ready for the premiere this coming Wednesday. So that's what's coming up on the pike tonight. But first, we're gonna say everybody say hi to our panel tonight. Of course, we got Sir Joe Crazy, we got Jason Rutherford, Rock Robotics, and first time on the podcast tonight, we have the Rogue Idealist. I've wanted this guy on for a little bit. Rogue Idealist, Josiah, welcome to the ToV podcast, sir.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm stoked inwardly to be here, and outwardly I'm calm, but I'm ready.
Tell since this is your first time here, just tell a little bit about your channel, what you're about. Give the audience some of the information.
Yeah, so my channel for more of the Heroscape side of things is called Roguescaper. Pretty much, I do painting tutorials and live streams, and I got some other stuff in the pipeline that are kind of being delayed because of Heroscapers.com being delayed. But I just do a lot of more of the creation of printing and painting side of Scape. So definitely tune into that if you're curious, never picked up a paintbrush. I really try to keep it beginner friendly and just try to kind of go through the steps of how to get a piece of gray plastic looking a little bit less gray.
For sure. And we showed your trailer with the smoke and like the pan of all these miniatures going across the screen. It was a very nice shot. I think we showed that. How long ago was that, Joe? Was that like about a month or two ago, I think? Something like that.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
When Josiah released that. And yeah, I'm just like, gotta keep an eye on this guy. That was a very, very nice Tales of a Hellas type shot. So thank you, Josiah, for being here with us tonight. So how about we just start first by talking about your guys' initial thoughts on the press release itself, because we had this discussion a little bit last Thursday with a bunch of guys. And hey, Jibizzy, how you doing there in the chat? Jibizzy says, nice to put a face with the name Rogue. And he says, you do great work, sir. And so to get some fresh perspective from you guys who weren't there last Thursday, what were your initial thoughts? And I do have the press release up here in a window just in case we need to reference it. But first, how about Joe Crazy? How about you start first and give us your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it can't be any different than everyone else's right now. You're cautiously optimistic, but I think what's interesting here is I feel like it should be swapped. So it should have been the slow roll and saying, "Hey, we're doing a press release," and this is I'm talking about like altogether the first announcement of Heroscape coming back in general should have been the slow roll, right? Press conference or something saying, "Hey, just let you guys know, we Heroscapers, we hear you. We're bringing Heroscape back. We're gonna work something out for you guys. We're gonna bring it back, okay? And we're gonna roll it out, like bring in the stores, like that sort of thing. What they're doing now." And then once you get that audience and you grab all of us together and go, "Hey, this is awesome," then you put something on HasLab that's $250, and then we all go, "Yeah, we get that," and then they get to see how many people. They're doing everything backwards. But hey, regardless, we're getting more Heroscape, and that's what I'm happy about. Yeah. Regardless if it's coming from Hasbro or Renegade or Avalon or even the community themselves, Heroscape, we're getting more of it, and I'm happy to see it.
Very nice. Jason, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's nice to see Heroscape coming back in some form. There's obviously not a lot of useful details inside the press release itself. We can certainly read between the lines and make up some fun-sounding things. But yeah, I guess I'm really in a situation where I'm going to wait for more details, because I'm pretty much would just be making speculation up about all sorts of crazy ideas. And
that's what we're kind of
thinking about. Yes. I mean, because the big question, of course, is obviously Renegade saw the whole Age of Annihilation launch, argument and fight over different things, HasLab campaign, eventually tanking, and like, what exactly are they going to do different? Are they going to try to address things different ways, or are they just going to choose this is our plan and go with it? That's kind of what I'm waiting for to see what happens at this point.
Right. And Josiah, before I ask you, one thing that Kayatsuki mentioned in the stream last Thursday, and I forgot to mention, so forgive me, Kayatsuki, but I'm going to mention it right now. They actually produced, and they showed the logo, the Heroscape logo during the stream on Friday as well, and it's a lot like, if not identical to the Age of Annihilation logo that they had last year. So I again, that's kind of reading in between the lines, but if they're using the same logo, it could indicate that they're going to bring what was worked on these last couple of years to this, quite possibly.
Or
there's a more
they don't have another logo to use.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
When you license the product, you can get the logo with it.
Right.
That's probably what's most likely happening.
But You mean they didn't have any time to get like some type of graphic designer to just make something new?
They may not be allowed to make something new.
It's so plain and blackface. There's something. Yeah, I have a lot of. I don't have like any speculation. I've been reading more between the lines of kind of seeing where the situation's at here. I said it in the stream, but I was definitely like watching the stream because I'm not familiar with Renegade Games too much as a company. I collect board games. I actually just don't have any of theirs. So I was kind of like, when you're like really into a person in high school and you're just like going to their Facebook page, you're like, what is this person like? Like, are they a complete weirdo? I'm like a father, daughter on a date. What's your intentions with my daughter? It's definitely. So I was more like, how do you react? And kind of on the stream. So I knew there wouldn't be a lot of Heroscape information. I'm getting the vibe that they have it, but they have little to nothing to show. I think they're going to be using Age of Annihilation stuff just because so much development was put into it. I mean, we have, just design process alone takes so long and so much effort. And if they got that, it definitely makes sense that they would include it some way. I think they're figuring out now, how do we include it? How do we market this? And but yeah, no, I like the stream. They were just like giving away stuff for free, very, very casually. They seem to interact well with the community and their art style. I would love to talk more about their art style, but all their games have just such a cool. I would have posters of all their game boxes on my wall. Like they all look so cool.
Right, and
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and so just anything else about the press release that stood out to you then?
I think they're not like. I think they knew there'd be a big group of people that would be interested in this, but I don't think they realized how many people would swarm their Discord and start asking for jobs. I think they're a little a little taken aback by it. And so it's like compared to their other channels, like the Heroscape is just blowing up. It is extensive, and it's almost a full-time job trying to monitor it for updates and discussion. I've almost given up at this point because I have a full-time job. And,
I don't even try. I just like I might glance at it. I'm just like, oh, there's a zillion messages that have came down here. The last time I checked, I'm like, I'm not going through. It's like, I don't know. Yeah. Somebody screenshot me something. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, what I didn't realize is how many role-playing games they do.
Yeah.
Like every single genre, G.I. Joe role-playing game. Oh, and the Transformers role-playing, and the My Little Pony role-playing. Everything was role-playing games. I'm like, are they gonna make Heroscape the role-playing game? Like, what are they gonna do with Hero? Like, how are they? Like, that didn't prove to me that they could do Heroscape. Nothing in their lineup was like, oh, we've done something like this before. We know how to do a miniatures game.
Yeah.
That was my only like thing of watching that live stream and went,
well,
okay.
I hope if they say they're gonna listen to the community, that they actually listen to the community.
Yeah, but I don't know if I specifically want them to, because I love this community and they have fantastic ideas. But if anything from my video game history of following games, you don't follow the community, because the community will come up with some insane ideas that in the background, coming from a business point of view or a design point of view, may not make sense. So it's I still want the community to give their feedback. I still want to see what kind of ideas they want. One being historical characters, but we've been through this already with Avalon. There's a reason that we can't do that. But
yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like their closest game is honestly probably Axis versus Allies, which is nowhere near as like a lore and narrative experience compared to Heroscape with, because Heroscape always towed the line between board game and just toy, just collectible toy. And that's why it was so great, is because, you could never play a game of Heroscape and you have all the figures on your back shelf and it still looked cool. And I don't like, they had the Power Rangers miniatures, which looked great. If it's just, I feel like I think there's three pillars of Heroscape. There's the gameplay itself, the having the game on the table, just back and forth, rolling dice, putting order markers up. There's the lore, which a lot of people really grasp onto, the story, of this isn't just this happens. This is like, this event is impactful in the world of what you're playing. And then there's like design of what looks like, what's a cool character, what's their ability. And I think all those things kind of come together to make the Heroscape experience. And so I feel like we're gonna have probably good design and good gameplay, but I feel like lore might be, I don't know where it's at in the process.
Right. Yeah, I think all those levels kind of concern me too. Like, how much time are they going to take in developing all three? If they're going to, what team are they going to assemble if they haven't assembled already? I think one great idea, and I just do this just because, promoting ourselves. If they say they reach out to the community, well, I mean, there are content creators in the community that they can reach out to, these guys, and I encouraged this last time, I encourage it tonight. I mean, if they want discussion, if they want to talk, if they want to reach out to the community, Sir Heroscape, Joe Crazy, Rogue Idealist, I mean, these guys would be like, if we're contacted, we'll do something with y'all. If you just want to get the word out,
I'll paint your figures live. I'll tell everyone how to do it. I'll walk you through.
There you go.
Exactly. So
that's how you market a game.
Yeah. The opportunity is there because we have been here doing this type of thing for a little bit of time, and we're not experts in any way, but we learn, we grow, and we have the community. The community is basically behind us in a lot of ways. So it's just another way of building. How did I say it last time? I forget the word that I said. Nope, I lost it, and I'm gonna pause, and then it's gonna be like dead silence. That's why I'm keeping on talking right now, because when I forget words.
What are you trying to get at?
I'm trying to find.
I can go back and ramble for a while about something
if you want to, Jason. So yeah. I can remember what word I said last time.
I want to kind of touch a little bit on what Joe just said a minute ago about another real-world example. Is that in the past 2 years or so, Star Wars Legion, which was made by Fantasy Flight, got transferred to another division under the Asmati brand in the form of Atomic Mass Games. And there was actually a whole subset of players to some degree who have now adopted the attitude, because you've got a new game company managing it. That new game company has no idea what they're doing, and they think that they're screwing the game over, and they have a very negative attitude towards them. And then adding to the mess, Atomic Mass Games just released a new, different Star Wars miniatures game, and it's really got people who are some amount of people, the diehard Legion fans, even more annoyed, because now it looks like this new company really doesn't care at all about Star Wars Legion. And how that can apply to Heroscape, if the first thing we see is a Heroscape role-playing game and not Heroscape little miniatures, that's kind of the same situation that was going on here with Star Wars, and it might really tick people off.
Yeah, we would rip that company to shreds if that was the case.
Yeah, don't do that.
Like, it would be the end.
Yeah, no. No, and I remember the word, goodwill. To build goodwill in the community.
Good thrift store.
Yes. Oh, and sometimes they got good auctions for Heroscape stuff too. Building goodwill. It's one of the ways to build goodwill within the community. Is just reaching out to those of us who can broadcast this stuff in a lot of ways. So definitely, I mean, if you all there are listening, Renegade, take notice of that, please.
Renegade has the golden goose. They realized, wait, there's $1 million on the table for, like, people always talk about how HasLabs failed. It wasn't a failure in terms of board game industry crowdfunding. It was a success. It's just the goal was so insurmountably high, but there was $1 million casually just thrown to this game with no advertisement, like no official advertisement, no big content creators, and we as a community pulled together $1 million. And I think they realize that. And so if they treat the community with respect, I don't think they have to listen to everything they say. But I think if they really
filter.
Yeah, filter out what they have their vision and kind of coincide that with the vision of the community. I think this could be the next Warhammer, or this could be the next
I hope
big hobby game out there.
The game deserves it. It deserves it so much.
Yeah, it's practically what it already is, but we needed to go out to the wider audience.
Yeah.
It just needs to be marketed back into it. Like, that's why I was almost kind of hoping that, like, at the Hasbro PulseCon from last year, I thought when watching what Avalon Hill did with Hero Quest and showed off this, like, cool, like, animated trailer for Hero Quest, I thought the first thing we would have saw was, like, the animation, like, restyle for what Heroscape originally had done. And, like, that's how they were going to show off the game. Like, the trailer that they showed off with, like, the metal-looking figures, and Thorm was talking over it, and, like, that was cool. But, like, if we got, like, an actual animation to honor the commercials that we grew up with, that would have been blowing my mind.
Yeah,
I would have died from nostalgic overload.
Yeah. So you're I know they want to appeal the game to, kids and adults, and obviously, I think if you're a certain adult might see the animation, go, oh, it's a kids game, that's it, and not realize like what it actually is. So that probably not be the best approach. That's how I feel like I would do it, but obviously, in the long run, may not be the best. But I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know.
But that was an idea.
I just know like Scott, is it Scott G, right? Scott G. They're in Discord. Who's the president of, I think, what branch is he president of again in Renegade?
Is it the design?
Design, something like that.
Oh, we're looking at the release. Give me a moment. I clicked off.
But I know he said on Discord, basically, just
president and publisher of Renegade Game Studios.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I mean, he just said, wait and see. It's like, that's fine. I mean, I don't mind waiting at all. I mean, me personally, because I plan to take a break after season 3 is done anyway. So it's like, yeah, please no surprise announcements while I'm away on a break. So yeah, I'm good with that. But no, I think that it's a good idea to, I mean, no matter how, we think if the way they announced it was the best way, I think it was a good idea to start like this small, promote a vision of what the future is going to be like, and then just allow us to ponder on it for a little while until they have something to show, hopefully like in the late summer or early fall or whatever, and then keep on going. I mean, we have lots of Heroscape custom. We have a lot of things we can do, in the meantime. So I mean, we can be patient. That is just fine.
I mean, look,
just the fact
have
that we
the
know
battle of all time. So we have all of the time.
My back would disagree, but
but yeah. So that live stream. Anything you, Joe, or Josiah, do you guys want to talk about that at all? I know that the funny thing was they announced. They made the Heroscape announcement and they talked about Heroscape, but nothing new twice during the live stream.
Yeah,
I think that was to quell the chat.
There's one right at the very beginning. It sounded like they weren't going to announce anything, so I stopped watching. Was there one later on the same?
Yeah, they mentioned Heroscape again, but they didn't. They just repeated what they said before.
It was a postscript essentially saying,
everybody's like,
be patient.
It's like, no. But
yeah, that really killed me. I just really couldn't believe that.
It's like
they had me
not
sit
even
through
like
the My Little Pony role playing game only for me to get no zero Heroscape news.
But it's okay.
I mean, Robo Rally is kind of cool. I want to see what Robo Rally was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh goodness, that game needs to die.
Okay, clearly there's some history there. We'll get to that later.
Oops. Oh no. That does.
Exquisite looks cool. What was the other one that looked really? The Ex Libris. I'm probably gonna get Ex
And
Libris.
that's on the internet forever. No, I don't like that game. I don't like Robo Rally. I've played it a few times. It's got some clever ideas to it, but it just seems to just play unless there's some new version of the game is radically different. There isn't any like catch-up mechanics, so someone just gets ahead and it just kind of that never seem to like. It's just boring for me. But
Is it a race board game? Is it a racing? Oh.
Yeah, you're racing
know
the
how to play.
robots, and there's this kind of pseudo programming mechanic to it. But it just once somebody got ahead, you can never catch up with them, and it was just like, well, that's kind of no fun after 4 turns, and the game was on for like an hour.
If you can ask me about my experience about playing Jill in Mario Kart, it's pretty much how it's played anyway. So
okay,
that's nothing new for me.
I know.
So maybe they have a new version of Robo Rally. That might be kind of neat. But the old version, I just
Gotcha. No, I know when I talk to Joe, we have a lot of Joes. I deal with a lot of Joes.
Yeah.
Joey Ranieri, who voices Lieutenant Dan in Tales of Valhalla, and he doesn't know much about Heroscape, but he actually knows Renegade because he loves Power Rangers, and he knows they have a Power Rangers game, and he's like. So when I told him Renegade was the company that was going to helm up Heroscape, he's like Ryan, that's a good company. He's like I know that company because I like Power Rangers and they do a good job with Power Rangers. I'm like, oh well, that's encouraging. All right, good. That's good to know. So any other thoughts? Like I said, this podcast, this I call mini podcast tonight. It's just giving our initial thoughts and basically. Going through what's already been said, but I want to discuss with you guys a little bit tonight. But this will be kind of short. Any other thoughts you guys have before we?
I got a little bit of wild speculation on one more line.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so where are we at? We're at paragraph 1, 2, 3.
Let me bring it up.
4.
Okay.
Paragraph 4.
Paragraph
line...
3. I'm sorry,
1,
paragraph
2.
3. I can't count properly.
All right.
So the line, going forward, Renegade hopes to introduce new models in a variety of configurations and price points for both new and hardcore Heroscape players.
Yes.
I think this is them trying to toe the line between unpainted and painted.
Probably.
Because they actually sell a whole bunch of miniatures, a lot of Power Ranger stuff and other things, and it's almost all unpainted. And I don't think they're going to want to spend the money for painted miniatures right up front. I was looking through their store, and I found one game in the form of Scott Pilgrim Miniatures, the World Core game, and it's got painted miniatures to it. There's 9 miniatures to the game for $100. So I think what they're trying to do with that little line there is, okay, we're going to release some unpainted miniatures initially because that's much more reasonable from a cost perspective. And then maybe later for the hardcore Heroscape players, hardcore in quotes means they demand painted miniatures or die, are going to be these other options where there's going to be some pre-painted box sets that cost like 5 times as much. That's my theory.
But wouldn't the painted miniatures actually be for the exact opposite demographic? Because it's, I think the argument was for painted miniatures is that when Heroscape originally had painted miniatures, it was easy just to start the game right away. Then you didn't have to worry about painting anything. So it was great for families and for children to use. So not really for your hardcore gamer, but for your gamer just starting up and wanting to experience something new. I mean, it could mean either way for that. And I think you're right, Jason.
It could mean either way.
Yeah. And I think you're right with that.
It's like, how do you politely call potential customers who yell at you because their product's a little bit different than what they're used to? It's like, are they new players or are they hardcore players? And honestly, though, they're probably gonna do unpainted first just because it's so much cheaper. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't have a problem with them doing like the Valkyrie general color for the figures. I thought that was probably the most genius.
I think
way
they
of
should
doing
still
it.
do that. If
absolutely.
Tend to go unpainted. I think they should still do that. And you know what? If they want, because I read some comments in Discord and people saying, look, if they want to mark up the price for painted miniatures, they're like, I'll gladly pay for it. You know, that's what a lot of people are saying. It's like, you know.
Yeah, our community apparently is rich. Who knew?
We've had 10 years to just stockpile our money for
Yeah, exactly.
this day. So
People have had bank accounts, just like offshore accounts, just to put it on the side.
I'll tell you, I
waiting
had
for
no
this
money
exact
when I was
moment.
9 years old, but nowadays I have a job and
have even
bills
less
to
money
pay.
now.
But after all that's done, let's see what's left over.
But no, and I mean, what one of Josiah's points early on too was the fact that $1 million was pledged for the campaign last year. So I mean, there is and that came seemingly from like Tabletop Bro says, a community of 4,000 people. So it's not too shabby for a start. So those numbers are there, and you can't really ignore them. So yeah, I hope they do good. That's the only thing. I mean, the whole time I've been thinking, just please do good, please do good. Just don't do it. Don't do any.
Please
F-ups.
learn from
Just
the
please.
mistakes
Yes.
that were made, and make sure that with this time that they have, make sure that the marketing for the game is widespread, and you take the time to make sure that all of that is prepared properly. Like how many people came in late into the game after AOA was done and were like, "Hey, cool, Heroscape's back. How do I help out?" And they're like, "Dude, you're late. What? Get out. You're late. We're done." And everyone's walking out of the convention center like, "Oh, throwing hats in the air," and the guy's like, "Hey, I'm here finally. All right."
I mean, and I'm thinking, even if they got to take even longer time, maybe if they see something that might be a snag for them, it's better to not rush the process. If the process takes a little bit longer than what even we're anticipating, or even they are anticipating, take your time to get it good.
Even if they're like 2-3 years, I honestly don't.
Seriously,
That doesn't
do it good. If you're gonna do it good. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can only be
I don't know what they're
so many times.
Yeah, I really don't know what their turnaround for games are. I mean, I'm going through their shop now, to find that one particular game that Jason was talking about, because I am starting to find more games with miniatures in it and a lot of unpainted miniatures. But so their catalog is way bigger than at least what their stream was talking about, because everything there was role playing games. So there are games here with figures in it. But yeah, their catalog is a lot bigger than I thought.
And any other thought? Because I actually, and just remember, I do have a few comments that I'm going to read from last Thursday's live stream from some viewers. So I want to get to those. But before I do, any other thoughts? Like Jason, you had Josiah, anything?
Two last little things I can mention.
Okay,
one on the topic of how long it takes them to turn around games. I have played My Father's Work, which is the one game they have that I played. It's a little bit different game, but it's kind of fun. It was on Kickstarter on December 2022. Wait, is that right? Oh, hold on. Let me answer that question in a minute. I'll go back to that one because I don't know when it started. Sorry, Alan. Okay, anyway, I got distracted. But on the topic of kids games, I don't think they're going to make Heroscape as a kids game. Renegade doesn't make anything as a kids game.
Okay.
Everything is 14 plus, including My Little Pony. So, yeah, I would not expect to see Heroscape marketed as a kids game. It goes back to the whole legal thing in the United States, where under 14 is a toy, and that requires a lot more testing and a lot more expense to make sure your stuff is safe for kids.
So it might be revamped in that way. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, I think they're definitely going to. That's kind of touches on what I was about to talk about.
Oh, there we go.
Is that the game is not going to be like. First off, it's going to be unpainted. Just get that in your head. It's going to start off unpainted. Is my prediction number one. Just because if you've ever bought D&D minis, you know that it is expensive nowadays. Like if you just go to the store, buy some pre-painted. It's in a blind box. You're looking at $20 for a bunch of low quality, terrible minis. So it's going to be unpainted. And the first thing they said is we're going to have a world championship. A world championship isn't something geared to 8-year-olds. It's going to be something that's more, they're going to care about the meta and the gameplay of the game. And I think that's fine. Kids are smarter than you think they are. You know, they can pick that up, and painting is fun. So I'm an advocate for painting. If you have a problem with that, I mean, it is nice painting out of the box, but just this day and age, it's so impractical cost wise. Like we're all talking about lowering costs, but we can't have both worlds. I think in the future they're gonna have like premium figure packs that will be like, you know, like same as the D&D line does. Like it's $15 for one guy type of deal, and
that's fair.
I think for those that want to pay it, that's great. But it's a whole other production line and system that you need, and most machines aren't great at, you know, automatically painting minis, so it gets that whole ethical question again. It's pre-painted minis are good for the environment. It does make the game seem more serious to a lot more people. I mean, unpainted minis too. I think they're going to have like just faction boxes. I think that was the original plan for Age of Annihilation, but tinfoil hat on. I think things got changed last moment. Because why have factions if they don't have any mechanical value? Unless it's like faction box 1, we got the Vorids. Faction box 2, we got the Oathbound. You know, like it makes sense to separate things into factions compared to just generals. You know, so I think we're going to see boxes put together thematically and then put up for sale or pre-order on HasLabs is my prediction.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. Yeah. I mean, I do like that they separated the fact that they're saying, okay, we're going to do faction packs and then terrain packs.
Yes, that's exciting.
Because if they're going to make money, it's the terrain packs more than anything else.
And we really, I mean, don't you think that if they started releasing new terrains, different types of terrains, or even rehashes of the old terrains, everybody will purchase them because all our terrain is falling apart. We've been wanting new terrain for such a long time. They're gonna run out of stock immediately. It's gonna be sold out immediately because everybody, and that's not just gonna be your Heroscape person. It's gonna be people like that do other games because they do with D&D with what's the one game that you play, Jason, that use that
BattleTech uses it.
BattleTech. Yep, that's what I'm saying. BattleTech. Yep. So yeah, it's out there and people want them. So I think that will actually end up becoming a staple if they do it right.
The terrain is really, really big. Terrain's really like, well, when Heroscape was kind of in its sunlight years, the tabletop gaming scene wasn't as developed. But I mean, with the release of D&D 5e and other just tabletop, you know, Critical Role, all those other people have made the game a fun, socially acceptable way to spend your weekend. It's big. I mean, it's declined a bit, but that's tangential. I don't want to go into that. But the game is just, people love playing games. And when I run I do a lot of D&D and stuff like that. I usually break out the Heroscape pieces. I build big set pieces for the Mind Flayer battle and the Lich Lords and stuff like that because it's cool. There's no other terrain out there that is as customizable and buildable as simple it is. There's Dwarven Forge and other stuff, but it's, if you think Heroscape is expensive, try to buy a pack of Dwarven Forge, and I'll tell you, you'll be bankrupt pretty soon. And it even then doesn't get the height and the elevation, which is really important for that kind of game, for that experience.
Yep. No, agreed. All right, guys. Anything else before we jump into the comments?
One quick wrap up, since I actually just did my research. From Kickstarter, for My Father's Work, it was in April of 2021 to got released finally like early 2023, I think.
So they do take their time.
So, yeah. And that was obviously, there was some amount of game design done for the Kickstarter. So you're probably looking at a 2.5 to 3 year time window for them to create and manufacture and distribute a brand new game. Of course, Heroscape could be about 99% done. They just got to send off to manufacturing, depending on how they want to do things and what Hasbro's going to let them do.
So
that'll be the interesting thing.
If we gotta wait, I don't mind waiting. I really don't.
Okay. I would just want to be on the wall. I want to know what's like happened with Avalon.
I know.
The conversations, like
Yeah.
These guys, some of these guys just need to come on here or go to someone else's channel and just start having the
they'll
conversation.
tell us.
I mean,
I really don't think they would tell us.
Oh no, of
I
course
want to
not.
tell all.
But
They
when,
would
when
not.
they
To
when they
disguise
can,
someone's voice and
when
face.
they're able to come on.
Oh, that'd be
come on.
great.
I mean, I'm sure that's the reason why they have radio silence right now. But I mean, whenever they're able to, please, keep the lines of communication open.
I don't think they'd ever be able to say as to what's going on over there. They've got all sorts of trade secret stuff, and they get in trouble if they leak any information. Yeah.
So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. I mean,
Avalon's busy with Hero Quest. Let Renegade do Heroscape. So obviously, I think Renegade's got a bigger, a lot more employees. They're a bigger. It seems like a bigger company than Avalon is. So let's see what they do.
If you need a lot of good minis, Hero Quest is a good place to. If you need like a lot of goblins and stuff like that, definitely get their big box. I get that Kickstarter, and I think you get like 150 minis that all Heroscape scale. So definitely check them out. But if you're looking for some custom guys,
their minis actually look pretty cool.
Okay, well, how about I hop into just got a few comments to read from last Thursday's podcast stream. Let me just open these up. Or actually, I already have them opened up here. Let me get it. All right, so first starting out, we got Real Cooper Christian, who just writes something real quick and just maybe go, So Real Cooper Christian, if you're watching this or if you watch this down the road, just answer me this question because I just find it really weird. He says, they say, true story. I messaged Renegade's owner asking for this back in October. The thing that I'm curious about is, okay, you messaged Renegade's owner back in October. Well, the campaign was still going on in October. And it still had potential to, I mean, it was starting to, like, the signs were going then, of course, but why October? Because the campaign was still, I have more questions than answers when it comes to that.
What was the full comment?
I just said it.
Oh, they just messaged Renegade? That was it?
Yeah.
They messaged him about Heroscape?
I messaged Renegade's owner asking for this back in October. That's what this person said.
Oh.
So, I mean, and of course, I'm assuming what they're saying is true, and I'm like, well, give me their email too. But no, I'm interested to know more about that. If that had any like perspective or influence on that. I just found that interesting. And then let's see here, another comment, much bigger comment from Mr. Justin says, I saw the announcement and was very interested in hearing your thoughts. That's why we're here. I was very surprised waking up today to see you had a video that I somehow missed when you were live. I did miss Joe Crazy's energy and look forward to hearing his thoughts in the future. Well, it's going on right now, Justin. I'm 70% excited. Heroscape defined my childhood during late elementary school, middle school, and early high school. However, 30% of me is here we go again. How will they screw it up this time? I'd like them to continue many elements of AOA without doing a one-to-one repackaging. I was originally skeptical when AOA announced new generals, but was won over in the end and would love to get Clockwork Combine, Ironclad Collective, and Dawn Raider Syndicate on the table someday. I'm hoping Craig Van Ness is involved, but have waited a long time for Heroscape to come back, so we'll pick it up regardless. Yeah, I mean, whether or not Craig Van Ness is involved, I'd still buy the stuff. Are you guys still planning to get 3 of everything? Yes. Probably 5 of everything now, considering it's not a crowdfunding campaign. It's like, yes, absolutely, Justin. Yeah. I mean, this really is. I mean, it's like a rebirthed hope that you kind of didn't expect this soon. It really is, and what the timing is just crazy. Okay,
I already had the funeral, and here you are again. I'm like, I mourned you. I lost you, and now you're back in my bedroom.
Yeah, let's play. All right. No, thank you, Justin, for that comment. Yeah, it's
I mean, the real question here, to even answer him right there, talking about the Clockwork Combine, did we save the Vorid?
That's all that really matters.
We'll see if they show up, I guess.
I guess.
You're gonna have to do
I
a
mean,
new
if they
commercial,
show up,
Joe.
then we saved the Vorid, but
You have to do a
fingers
new commercial.
crossed.
You're gonna have to do a new commercial. So
Dude.
And
Gonna
actually,
have to save the Oathbound.
I was just thinking to
save
myself,
the,
I gotta rewrite that song now. I mean, that's what I might do over my break is rewrite that song. So by the time we do the podcast, come late August, we have a new version of that song, possibly, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Think about it. All right, and the last comment is from Lurch Vater. It's an interesting name. I have no bad feelings towards Avalon Hill or AOA, but I'm still not hyped about the new return. I focused hard on AOA to make Heroscape my main game, buy everything, enter the local scene, the whole thing. And then, nothing. So I redirected my energy to find a rule system that fits my needs, find a local scene I want to join, etc. And for the most part, I succeeded. Also, it's summer, wargaming is a winter hobby to me. I hope I can pick up excitement while the whole thing picks up momentum. Well, and and this is the attitude that I know probably a lot of people in the community, or those who were maybe kind of getting excited with AOA and then ended up bombing. I'm sure that's how a lot of people feel, and I can understand that. It's like, okay, we're just going to move on and do something else, or just stick to the old Heroscape ways, or just ignore it altogether. I'm hoping, Lurch, that you will stick around just to see what Renegade does. Since it is a new company, let's give them a chance and see what they do. Of course, if there are red flags, we'll try to keep an eye out for them this time and let you all know. But we do appreciate you, Lurch, and thank you so much for expressing your thoughts. We do appreciate it. Now, and any other thoughts from those comments, guys?
Yeah, no, I'm not really, no.
Okay. All right. Okay, great. So I think we're almost coming to an hour of this mini podcast, so I do want to make it mini. How about we do... so what we're going to do is we're just going to give some closing statements to this, and then we're still going to be streaming, but I am going to kind of like fade to black, so I'll have like the... not the ending screen, I'll have the break screen, I think. Right, am I able to do that? Yeah, I think so. I'll just be going on the break screen, and we will just be a few minutes before we come back on, and then we're going to do some Tales of Halo stuff, because it really is time. You don't have no idea how relaxed I am. It just because I've finally finished with these animations. We have about an hour's worth of Heroscape stop motion animation to watch in like next Wednesday, next Sunday, and the Tuesday after next. And I'm just more than thrilled that this is getting out. So we're going to be talking a little bit about Tales of Halo, the Aftermath Chronicles on the second half of this. But before we get to that, how about we just have some final thoughts from you guys, and then give a plug, but try and make it a little bit shorter this time so we can wrap this up. Joe, go ahead.
Heroscape is back, baby! Let's go! Is that what you're looking for? Is that what you want? And I'm not even talking to Ryan on that one. What, is that what you want, audience members? Is that what you want? You're looking for that? Because we got 2 to 3 years to wait for this, and I'm bringing it, okay? I'm bringing it. Don't worry. I got you if you're looking for the energy. I got batteries in the back fully recharged, ready for you guys to talk about Heroscape. So, and speaking of that, wrong screen, by the way. But... where am I? There I am.
He's totally not mine, Shackles.
I touched my keyboard, and everything goes to hell. So, I'm Joe Crazy. Don't forget it. People are asking about Heroscape Adventure, so that's a success so far. It's been very good. And, yeah, we're excited, man. I'm excited. So, you can find me on YouTube at Joe Crazy 3193. So, go over there, support a Heroscaper, and I yield my time.
Thanks, sir. Jason.
All right. Well, I found one more game they sell with pre-painted miniatures. It's Robo Rally. What do you know?
Yeah.
And it actually looks like they've added a bunch of stuff to the game, so maybe it's a different version than what I'm familiar
might
with.
wanna
But
retry it,
regardless, we'll find out if Heroscape is actually back when we see new product and it makes it to the market. That's my position at the moment. I mean, they're working on something. It'll probably come out, but I have no idea what to expect at this point. So when it shows up, and that'll be pretty cool. So anyway, I'm Jason, the creator of the Tabletop Battlefield. You can head over to tabletopbattlefield.com or Rocket Robotics on YouTube to find my content, where shortly I'll be posting my Heroscape commentary video about all this. So, back to you, Ryan.
All right. Here, hold on a second. I just had like my front door, screen door open, and I don't know why.
That's not good.
No. I mean, I'm armed, but that.
Are you alone?
Well, kind of in the house. I'm sorry. Okay, this is kind of a half frightening moment. I tell you what. I'm.
About Josiah talks about his remarks, and you go find out what's going on.
Yeah, Josiah. I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute my microphone. Hopefully, I'll be back in just a minute. Josiah, go ahead and do as long as it closes as you want until I come back, please. Okay.
I got
I'll be
free
right
airtime.
back.
All right, great. Be safe. Yeah. So I'm Josiah, otherwise known as the Rogue Idealist or the Roguescaper. I have many names. Yeah. Final thoughts. Yeah, temper your expectations. Don't get into a frenzy. It's coming. You don't have to fight in the trenches. And I did a diagram of no matter what happens, it's still pretty much a good thing. They have to try really hard to screw the pooch on this one. If they do a reprint of Classic Scape, cool. You get the figures you never grab. If they do, AOA, cool. Great figures, great storyline. If they just do kind of the same style of like original Escape, but it's just kind of unpainted or a slightly different, updated, version of the card, great, more Escape. So it's just don't get emotional, don't harass the Renegade employees, and really just really enjoy each other's time and company. The community is great. Really showcase that, I think, is the only thing I would say. Show our good side. Because we're kind of stepping out into a broader world, and I think there's some exciting things to come. If you're afraid of being painted, or if you don't want to paint, I can certainly help you out with that. I do really affordable commissions because I'm a terrible salesman, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm a pretty even keel person. Even I'm slightly jittery in my seat here. So, and Ryan hasn't been kidnapped, so it's good to see as well. Oh, maybe
Microphone's still on, by the way, Ryan.
But plugging myself while I'm just taking up airtime at this point. I am the Roguescaper, as mentioned before. Check me out on YouTube. I do painting tutorials, live paints. I got some other fun stuff in the pipeworks here. I'm working on the history of the Heroscape as a worldwide timeline there. I'm scripting that out now, and yeah, I got some other fun stuff. And also check out NGC. I work out there. I do kind of some of the art stuff, so I paint some of the figures and photograph. And so if you're looking for some customs, you got a 3D printer to tide you over, definitely check out New Generations Customs, and they're doing some really fun, cool stuff over there too.
Excellent.
All right, thank you, sir.
I yield my time.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for keeping it going for a few minutes. I don't know what just happened, but someone did open my screen door and tried to get in my house, but my inside door was locked. And usually that screen door is locked, but it wasn't. But I locked it. And yeah, I'm just making sure that I have any type of protection. So if anything else does happen, I'm ready. But that was really strange. Yeah.
Wasn't the mailman? Even UPS driver. Leaving
back delivery.
The secret Renegades. You know why he's disguising this? Renegade sending him stuff.
Yeah. Show us the stuff, Ryan.
It's just at 10:30 at night. That's just really strange.
True. UPS doesn't, but Amazon might though.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Amazon usually throws your package on the neighbor's porch, so I don't know about that.
yeah, I'm kind of thrown for a loop for a second. But anyway, I am right. I'm gonna end this. And again, I'm gonna get to where it's gonna be. I'm gonna have like I'm gonna have a screen like this here. I'm just gonna pop it up real quick just to show you all what it's like. It's like this on a break. Be right back. So, and we're just gonna have that for a few minutes, and then we'll be back looking at some Tales of Valhalla stuff. And Wayward Notions in the comments says, an hour worth of Heroscape Stop Motion is quite a feat. Nice job. Wayward Notions, it's not just, this is the hour worth of Heroscape Stop Motion that I've edited. Oh, okay, awesome. Hello, Wayward Notions. Nice of you to comment. Yeah, it's not just an hour worth of Heroscape. This is the hour worth of Heroscape that I've done in the past like 6 months, or edited in the past 6 months. There is literally hours of Heroscape Stop Motion on the Tales of Valhalla YouTube channel. This is just the last part of it. So yeah, and we're going to be showing that off this coming week into next week. And just going to show a couple of things, just have some fun after the break is done. But yes, I thank everybody for it's just exciting. It's thrilling to see. It's perfect timing. At least coinciding with my channel. And lots to look forward to coming up this year and in the future. So Renegade, we wish you the best, and don't mess it up. We thank you. And please, like I said, when it's time, or if you're able to, reach out to us one way or another. We'll do our best to give you opportunity to speak whatever you are able to say, if anything at all. Anyway, I thank you. I thank everybody for watching. Again, if you want to comment, leave a comment below. Thank you for those who are listening via Spotify, the Audiosphere. Keep on listening, and just keep on finding ways. Pressing play does provide support, so we thank you. You have a purpose in your life. Find it, pursue it, live it. We'll see you guys next time. Bye now. And for those of you who are continue watching this live stream, we'll see some of you. Some of us will see you in a little bit, in a few minutes. Later.
To the death, then.
Now this is a fight.
You are the only one who can save Valhalla.
We have an agreement then.
Yes, Korok. We agree.
And I have a plan.
We're all gonna die.
What's wrong with this guy?
All right, we're back on, and yeah, I'm good. Everything's good. Everything's fine. That was that's never happened before. Oh my gosh. So guys, let's get into some celebration mode, shall we? And this is no longer a TV podcast. We're just doing Tales of Valhalla, the Aftermath Chronicles stuff, having fun. And the one thing I'm going to show, because we do have, let's see here, let me bring this up real quick. What we're going to go through a little bit, I don't know how long we'll go through it. We'll talk through it as much as possible. We could probably talk all the way through it, but like the first 7 episodes of season 3, I'm just going to have like running on the side here, and I'm just going to show the audience.
My name
Let me bring down the sound of it. Bring down the sound, and then just go through it. I'm going to actually expand the viewfinder on it too, so that way we have a bigger and just probably just talk through it and discuss the characters, the animations and stuff, and discuss the story leading up to what we're going to be watching in these next 2 weeks. But before doing that, I have some, and this is something Kayatsuki asked for. So and I know he either watches live or he watches after. Because I mentioned this in my Wednesday live stream last week, that I had this footage way back when. This was the first bit of stop motion that I did with Heroscape miniatures, and I thought it was like 2013, 2014. It was 2011 that I did these. It's very rough. It's some kind of grainy footage. I don't remember what I was using at that time, but it wasn't my I didn't have a Canon T3i back then. But this is basically what started everything. This little segment of footage, and you guys will have to play it listen to it on your ends, because I mean, I won't be able to hear the audio. I already know what it is. But I'm just going to play along the side here, and let's see here. I think the audio for it is kind of way up for you, the listeners. But this is basically what I did, and then within this clip as well, we'll probably have it loop a few times, and so I can talk through it. And I also have some test footage on what I was originally thinking of for Tales of Valhalla. I ended up making changes, but how about just open it up and we'll go through it. So here we are. Okay, so I used a Roman soldier first, and it was basically just on a chair that I had and just some Heroscape pieces. Actually kind of very choppy, but the way they appear is, is kind of nice. But I had a lot to learn. But I wanted like the Hulk to smash it. And then the Roman guy just falls down the cliff basically. And for some reason I decided, because I think I had like fire effects, and I decided to put one in the background and have a sock burn, you know, behind the Hulk. I don't know.
I mean, those are clean graphics. Like,
yeah.
I would say that you really are great at animating action, especially considering you don't have like joints or really anything to move on your figures. From what I watched, it's just still very fluid and dynamic with, you know, the limitations of stop motion and the lack of movable figures.
Right. I mean, yeah. They're inanimate objects, really, and I think the creative point is trying to give life to them, really. And I had no plans for Tales of Valhalla back in 2011. It was more just, okay, I was actually looking to do stop motion with Legos, and I thought, well, this is a little bit simpler. Let me try this first just to see how it goes. And just to test it out. So, and, you know, making them appear. So this is like the precursor of Tulak Ra appearing and reappearing. I kind of already, you know, kind of had that figured out of what to do with just this one. But as far as like the smoothness of the movement and stuff, it's still kind of choppy for this one. It takes some time in animating to really, you know, figure that bit out. But yeah, effects are always fun. I always loved inserting effects and making it as real as possible into the scene.
no, I mean, you did a solid job for your first play test with this.
Yeah, but I mean,
and then over time, obviously, because everything is the same consistent speed, so then you had to figure out, okay, well, how many extra frames do I need to make things go faster and slower? And
oh, I needed a good camera, and that's why I got a T3i, or a fairly good camera that I know could, you know, do the job. Yet nothing that was going to break my bank, because I is, and I still am broke.
Same. So, T3i was actually my first camera, so it's a really good, like, especially at that time, that was kind of the best thing in the market.
Yeah, but I didn't get a T3i until like 2014, 2013, 2014. Because, I mean, again, this was just something I made, but it did spark the idea of the Hulk, you know, hitting this Roman soldier. That really did start to spark the idea and the creativity to like thinking, you know, I probably could do something with Heroscape miniatures because of the fact that, I mean, the terrain is there. I don't have to worry about, you know, creating DIY terrain when I just purchase it, and it saves me a bit of time, and aesthetically it looks just fine for what I had in mind. So yeah, so that's what started, and then this next little bit of footage, I'll just wait till it goes into the next one. Is some test footage, and this I was practicing again movement. It's a little smoother now, but it was trying to figure out what background did I want, because that was important. And I think this was like blue paper that I had, and I was just trying to do like close-ups as much as possible to where you couldn't see much of the screen, because I mean that was always going to be a problem, like what's going to be in the background. And it took me some time to figure out what I could actually do, as well as movement, like what would be movement sounds. And I tried, you know, just people walking, you know, because there's movement sounds of people walking, or scuttling along, and that you do hear that in these clips. Let me just roll it. But you know, just had Henderson moving through some trees, just to see what that looked like, and then adding like a digital background. I mean, it looks nice, but you can tell with the trees, it's really hard to key in. It wasn't what I wanted. It just made it look, I don't even say fake, just not what I had in mind. What I ended up doing was, in the sky background that I have, for most of the for the shots, and sometimes there's some night shots, and I actually had Jason custom make like a little starry canvas that it's like it's kind of a small cloth, so I only could use it for like kind of like tighter shots. But for night scenes, very little night scenes. I think I only have night scenes in like season 1. But for the sky stuff, that whole draped fabric I got from Joanne Fabrics, and it's weird because at that time my wife was getting stuff, some crafts for I think her father, and so we were all there, and I'm just like, is there anything here I could use? And so I just started looking at fabrics. I'm just like, I was thinking first as far as like a sky background, just one that's blue, you know, and I did get a blue one, but then I saw this one to where it had like white, white along with the blue. I'm just like, that's a lot like clouds. You know what? That actually looks a lot better. And just trying to keep when I end up using it as a background, trying to keep it separated from the board, from what an anime as much as possible to give as much of a depth of field as I possibly could with it. And that's what I eventually went with, you know. But I mean, these first initial clips, and you should hear the sound with that too. Hang on, let me go back on it a little bit. Let's see here, where's the levels? Let me raise it up a little bit. Yeah, there's so you hear the walking.
To look, looking at the green screen images, or I should say blue screen. I wonder if creating your own background using the Heroscape terrain to make the illusion that the forest was deeper than it was, but you just take a picture of more and more trees. I gotta do some tests of my own. I want to see what
I do that sometimes. To where you have trees and terrain cover up the background, especially for some wide shots, to where it's like it's not gonna be covered by the draping sky blanket that I have. So I do that sometimes. If you really study the shots throughout the series, you'll see where it's just like, and sometimes like there might be like the shot might be so wide that you actually can see where the blanket ends, and so I add like some towering Kaitsuki, oh, there you are. Hey, yeah, I'll go through the footage again so you can see it, and I'll re-explain it again in a second. But no, just on the sides, I would add like just things that would not show that there's actually a wall but behind there in the shot, or I might have to. I mean, there are lots of times to where I just had to bring the shot in a little bit in post. So yeah, I mean, it's just, you just got to keep an eye on it. And there are plenty of times, plenty of nights that I animated all through the night. I mean, again, 300,000 plus photos at least. It wouldn't surprise me if it was like almost double that much that I took for seasons 1, 2, and 3. And sleepless night after sleepless night of doing that for quite literally years. And so you're thinking of like with all these shots, and you're thinking wide shot, medium, close-ups, and that's how you got to go, think about it through every scene. So that way you can break down the set to what you need, depending on the scene and depending on what you need. So yeah, it's a long process. And did I have like all that sequence written down? Not really. It was more of just a head process. I basically just would number the shots with the script that I had in front of me of what I would need, and I just go through it like that. I was able to keep in mind, and it's probably not the best way to do it. It probably really isn't. But that, I mean, it was just all there, and so I mean and that's how it all filtered out. But yeah, okay, Kaitsuki, here. Let me go back. So Kaitsuki, this is the one that I was talking about on Wednesday. This was back in 2011. Here, let me just run it again. So Roman Soldier and the Hulk. And so this is where everything started. Pretty clunky, but you gotta start somewhere.
In terms of script writing, did you kind of have like the whole season planned out, or was kind of each episode like you wrote the script afterwards and kind of made adjustments, or how did that kind of go?
For like season 1 or all
general,
seasons?
or season 1, season 2, or did your process change?
Of course, season 1, of course, was the first script I wrote, and that's kind of a silly thing to say, but no, I wrote season 1 in mind of just being a 1-season deal. I ended up making adjustments for the last few episodes of the season when I realized this story could go further, and then I wrote seasons 2. It took me about a little over a year to write seasons 2 and 3. And that's 150 pages of script altogether for seasons 2 and 3.
Wow.
And it, I wrote both those together. So that way, when I would get to the animating process, because there were some scenes in season 2 and some locations in season 2 that were also in season 3. So instead of animating all these in sequence, and I did mostly, but for some of the season 3 scenes, I had already animated when I was animating season 2, and vice versa as well. So that's one thing I had to keep in mind when it came to the script writing and story. There were like what is it? I'm sure you're familiar with this, Josiah, log lines for the seasons and then the individual episodes as well. Like what needs to happen to keep the story going? You know, where are these characters going? And I knew where they ultimately were going to end up, and I already had the payoffs set up, but it was just figuring out how we were going to get there, and a basic outline of the scripts. I gave a lot of the voice actors, though, free range to ad-lib parts and get their thoughts. We would do script reads. So I would have like an original draft or what I had written up of the script, and then we would just read through it just to see if it sounded okay, as well as figuring out, because at the time in seasons 2 and 3 there were some characters that I didn't know who people were going to voice. So just figuring out, you know, who was going to do what, and as well as does it sound good, and does the story flow well, and most of it did, but I did make adjustments to some things, and so I would just rewrite that, and that's basically the script that I used when we started doing the voiceovers and then just doing all the animating. And then, I mean, some changes were made. I added on when it comes to well, I'll give this the way. For those of you, I mean, Heroscapers.com is down, but if you've been to Heroscapers.com, you probably know a comic strip written by a gentleman who took photographs of 2 certain Heroscape miniatures and called them Chedwick and Sven, as well as Steve the zombie. And that was a long time running series within Heroscapers.com, and they should still be there. If anybody's listening to this in the future, as long as Heroscapers.com is up, they should still be there. It's a fun little series, and I kind of took from that series I pulled from a lot of aspects of pop culture, some known, some unknown. Of course, Lord of the Rings is a big pull. Red versus Blue, Monty Python. And Chedwick and Sven, as well as others. But the cool thing is that the characters of Chedwick and Sven will be introduced at the end of season 3, and I kind of gave them a backstory on how before the first comic panel that this gentleman wrote, or that this gentleman made of them. I kind of do a backstory of before that one happens, on how they actually meet each other. And then Sven gives the line in the first strip, his very first line in the strip. So that is homage towards the community, towards Heroscape in itself, and us creating stories for it. So that probably more than answered your question, and probably went on to something even more so. But how about we just start, because I don't want this going on. It's already 11 o'clock at night, and I don't want to keep you guys up too long. So let's just start season 3, and we can just talk through it as well. I'm just bring it up.
My name
And
Yeah, I'm actually gonna be rewatching it tomorrow. I need to catch up. It's been a couple months since the last episode, so
it's been 6 months.
I've forgotten everything about it. So I need to brush up on my ToV. So
it's been 6 months since we released episode 7, and episode 6 and 7, they were really fun. They were really fun because you get some fun fight scenes. You get some elementals revealing themselves. You get some of these bad guys getting their way on things, and our heroes are really at quite a crossroads right now, and what they're gonna do, what they're gonna decide to do, since some of their party is captured, and how are they gonna handle that is important. But let's say we're beginning with beginning of season 2. You have a huge, almost 10-minute sequence of battle scenes, and basically an introduction to, sometimes when people ask me, it's okay, I want to watch this whole series. I'm like, start with the first 10 minutes of season 2, because then you get a whole idea of what the Tales of Valhalla universe is about. I mean, there's an integration of both old and what Tales of Valhalla, both old lore and Tales of Valhalla lore, is kind of jumbled up together. It's a good narrative way of showing it. But at the beginning, I knew the beginning of season 3 wasn't gonna have the same sequence, because I'm not gonna animate hundreds of miniatures at a time for just it's not gonna happen. So I wanted to keep season 3 kind of Kurok focused, because he is the villain, but he's the main antagonist, but he has a reason why he is the way he is. You can tell from even in season 2 that he's got a high opinion of himself. Yes, he does monologue quite a bit, and that's his character. But he does have a purpose and reason for doing what he's doing, and it's really revealed a lot, especially at the beginning, the beginning narration in season 3. We find out a little bit of, why he feels so superior especially when it comes to controlling elementals, because he is the chosen one in that aspect, it's basically him against everybody else, even people or monsters he allies with. So it's quite a unique, it's quite an interesting take. And at the same time, Estavara, you kind of have those a hidden Thanos type character, to where she's in the background and you don't really know what she's planning, but she is trying to play all the pieces on the board, and we're going to see a lot of that. We've already seen some of it in season 3, what she did with Henderson in episode 7. But you'll also see a little bit more of it, especially some of the conversations that some characters have with Jandar or Yandar near the end of season 3 as well. That gets talked about a little bit more too. So we start here in season 3, and of course, we have to where Toothpick is kidnapped, and that doesn't get resolved at the end of season 2. I mean, season 2 kind of ends on a cliffhanger, to where you have some of the party taken, and you have to figure out how to cross this volcanic wasteland, and we're still there at season 3 and trying how to figure this out. I mean, we kind of have a Sujawa ex machina happen at the end of this episode, but I mean, and trying to keep the dialogue between the characters while they're figuring this out, and they have their own, agendas and personalities involved, especially like Mariko and eventually Evar Scarcarver joins the party as well, and you don't really know. I mean, Evar sounds like he's sincere, but we'll find, like, in these last 3 episodes, especially in episode 10, that he does have an agenda and he does report to somebody, for not just his ends, but who he represents ends as well. So yeah, it's just trying to keep that the character roles in Heroscape quite integrated, just to give this universe way more depth than what you would think it is. If that makes sense.
I put on the first episode since I'm not gonna wait 3-second delay, but the shot of seeing Kimoshi, Tubakra, and Nigaksa is just so cool. Like, this is just so cool to see all of them in one shot. Like the Rose Gallery of villains for the morrow. It's just like, ah.
That's not all of them, though. That's not all of them. We see a little bit in the trailer that I really.
I know Usaga is coming in.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Oh, and it's like my son heard the sound of Usaga, because there's a shot in episode 8 where Usaga starts hissing. My son was listening to that, and he's just like, "Ooh, snake!" It's like, for a 4 or 5-year-old, that's just kind of, "Ooh, snake! Ooh, snake!"
Yeah.
So yeah, he was convinced. But yeah, and
here's a particular question. Now, I don't know if there's an answer for it, but is there any character that you had brought into the show that you felt like you had to make either more powerful or weaker based on your previous knowledge of what the character did for a story element?
I got the question until that very end. Can you repeat it, please?
Yeah, like example here, Kurok. Kurok obviously is super powerful in the show.
Right.
I feel like, if anything, that would probably solve my answer, is that you had to make him feel more powerful than what his card would have been. Because, I mean, obviously, too, you're not bringing too much gameplay mechanics into this. I mean, even though my favorite part of the show is you using the wound markers for blood, that is my favorite part. But other than water cloning, that was also my favorite when you did that. But
it's funny, Josiah was mentioning that too before the stream.
Yeah, it's
pretty tight.
Those have got to come back sometime. I know.
But having, I mean, Kurok, yes, summons elementals in the game. That's what his power is. He does way more than that. But maybe, were there any other characters that you can think of that, based on their card, that you had to think of oh, how do I make this into the show? How do I correlate this? But had to make the character more powerful or weaker based on that card.
Oh, that's like a 2-hour answer or 2-hour.
Really?
Question.
There's an actual. At least give.
I mean, the process of. I mean, I did my best to integrate the information on the cards. Now, of course, I take creative liberties for sake of story, and also for one thing I was going to say, for the sake of satire, because this is also a satire show. because you know, I want a little bit of comedy in there, and so especially like with Airborne Elite, that I mean that's kind of what they're about, you know. It's not supposed to, because the actual lore and world of Heroscape, it's very dark, and it's very sad, very, you know, almost near depressing, which is fine. That's what gives it that Warhammer 40k element. But that's not what I wanted my show to be. I mean, I wanted the level of seriousness in there, and I think it shows. But I also wanted something that was going to be also to give a sense of fun. Now, when it comes to like trying to match characters with their cards and like powers based off their cards, well, I mean, I do that with the Airborne Elite. I mean, I try and show and give, at the very least, homage to some of these characters and what they can do. I mean, like with the Airborne Elite's airdrop, I showed that at the very beginning of season 1, that they do a drop. Their grenades, of course, are iconic. When it comes to, like, I mean, to give the example, Karak himself, you'll see something when we watch episode 8, that he is not as strong with his elementals. I mean, he's got that like that pull beam of like a Ghostbusters pull beam, you know, to get the elementals. But if he's not in control of an elemental, because I mean, he's been in control of the fire elemental, the prime fire elemental, so it's not. Like I said, this is the reason why I say prime elemental, because that means they are one-of-a-kind elementals that have powers that go beyond a normal elemental. And you could always base a card off of that, to where if you were going to play a prime elemental in a game, I mean, they just look like a regular elemental, but they have powers that go beyond normal elemental. And if it would be integrated in a Heroscape game, they would be someone who could, like, because you do have like miniatures and cards that can be added onto another miniature or squad, usually a hero, that boosts their ability. So in essence, that's kind of what I took from to create the prime elementals themselves when I was thinking about it. A little OP, I think, yes, for the show. But still a lot of fun, especially since the fire elemental is supposed to be the strongest anyway, and that shows in this, and the prime fire elemental definitely shows that in this show. And so what in episode 8, what you're going to see is that Karak, without the elementals, he can be beat up pretty fast, and he knows it. That shows another skill he has, is how to talk himself out, or talk his way through something through negotiation, and to show that he does actually have a level of aristocracy and class, even though he's using it to further his own greed, his own agenda. He still has it. He still has a sense of honor that he was raised with. So, although I mean, you'll find that it's not our human standard of honor. It's his own definition of honor. But he does have it. So, I hope that answers the question for that. But yeah, it's something that I try to put a lot of thought into, because I want to try and give as much homage and honor to, you know, the game. And I think, I mean, when it comes to Mariko's pretty quick. And I think that shows a little bit. Kelda with the healing, Raylan, especially Raylan with her aura, and that, I mean, she can defend as well as attack through some of these scenes. And so yeah, I think a lot of that shows a lot of the stats within these characters' cards. They show as much as I possibly can.
Is there any character you've ever wanted to include but just couldn't make work narratively, or just at that point of the story? Like, who's like someone you're like, I want this, but it just doesn't work now? Or
well, I mean, I did do this for because actually, and it's not that I don't want them. It's just I'm still trying to figure out how to integrate them, and it might be something that might be like future seasons that I haven't even conceptualized yet. But the dragons, because the dragons are big lumbering things, and I still haven't figured out how I would really use them. Although you see a Waverin, you know, in the end of season 2, and that is kind of like a dragon, but it's small enough to have in there, and it's kind of like a wild thing that really doesn't know what it's doing. Then kind of just goes off into the wild, you know. And I do have like some of the dragons in the character introduction videos, which I've named in a playlist Season 0. If anybody, if you've seen the seasons and you still want more, I have a few stop motion, like minute, 2-minute long stop motion videos of some of the characters in Tales of the Valhalla introducing themselves. It's a little satire comedy, but also shows what they can do within this universe. If you just go to Tales of Valhalla YouTube, look in playlists, and you see Season 0, you'll see that. And yeah, probably more down the line as well. It's something I'll probably talk about in the next week or two as well. So
dragons are tough because you have that regality. They're all nobility, but they're also a big honking beast.
It'd be kind of hard to animate because they're very big. I mean, I did it with Sujua, but Sujua isn't even as big or as tall.
He's a helicopter.
In
the show.
As
that's all he is.
That's fun. That was fun to animate. Yeah. Okay. We're coming on here. This is a fun little action moment to where you can tell factions don't trust each other, but there's still like you can tell like some of these characters, they don't want to fight unless they have to, because I mean they're understanding the world of Valhalla that they're living in and the times that they're in. And so you got Evar introducing himself here, and who's the dark ninja? What's her name? Otanashi. That's actually voiced by my wife. And you kind of have a little like backstory between Mariko and Otanashi that I might do something with in the future. I don't know. We'll see. But and also Josiah, to answer your question, I mean I do have Johnny Shotgun Sullivan in here, but I really wanted to integrate more of the lawmen into the series, and I probably will do that in seasons 4, 5, and 6, because I think those guys, just because they're human, and people can relate to them more, and I think they would they would provide a fun little element to that, just because there's so much of pop culture of westerns that I could glean from. To establish them as characters, that would be a lot of fun. But I just couldn't find a way to use them for these seasons.
Does High Ground have a Western setting that we can pull from that?
No.
So we can have like a shootout scene.
No.
Of like Guilty McCreech and James Murphy.
But that would be fun.
High Ground, if you're listening.
Yeah. Or just
we need a Western town.
Or even I'm sorry. What's the company's name? Did it say Renegade? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Renegade Games. Western. There. Western themed terrain.
I'd buy it.
So your Wayward donation says in the chat, I'm going to head off. This was such a delightful stream, and it was really refreshing to see a passionate group of creators talk about and expand upon said passion in such a welcoming and excited way. Good night, gents. Thank you, Wayward Notions. Hope to see you again in the future. Thank you for chatting. Yeah, and
have you ever watched my streams? Wayward Notions is the one who is my sister who shows up with me. She was on the Pokemon stream I did. So
right. That's what I figured. It's very nice. And I'm just looking at this like, okay, I just see, okay, where are we at? So this is about 8-10 minutes of season 3, and there's still 44 minutes left. So I don't know if we're going to go through this whole thing. I may actually skip ahead. a matter of fact, if you want to, just we can like skip ahead. So first, let me. What we'll do is we'll probably just jump to episode 6 and episode 7, because that's where we're kind of leaving off. But just to give a synopsis for like seasons 1 and season 2, and what eventually is going to come to a head in these last 3 episodes of season 3. I mean, you got the Airborne Elite, you got Toothpick discovering this prime air elemental, so that was the first prime elemental found in season 1, and you had Raylan searching, not really knowing what she was searching for, but Raylan knew that other forces were searching for these as well, and somehow Jandar, with the foresight that he had, kind of knew that a search needed to happen as much as he could. And so Raylan was the first to start on that, but Kurok was already behind. Estevara was searching, Torin was searching, and trying to keep it as quiet as much as possible. But Toothpick does Toothpick. Toothpick does what Toothpick does, and gets into messes that he probably has a really good understanding of what he's doing. He just just rolls with it. And that's how season 1 kinds of ends, and then season 2 it gets a lot more dramatic, to where Kurok recognizes that these Airborne Elite are kind of like stifling his plans a bit, and then the Airborne Elite brings on more people. They go on a quest because there's not just one, there's 4 of these elementals to grab, and they're all over the map in Valhalla. And so that's how the journey starts, and it goes throughout season 2. And then you have like the Morrow taking notice. You have Einar like kind of taking notice a little bit, but they have other agendas as well, and that gets into like this part of season 3 as well, that we're probably going to skip over. But that's a fun little segment too, insulting the Empress. I think that's one of the funniest episodes that we have, because Joey Ranieri, who voices Lieutenant Dan, is the one who voices the Empress. And a little bit of backstory in that too. I actually had a professional voice actor. She actually voices like video games and other things, who was going to voice the Empress, and she was going to do it pro bono, just because I reached out, and I'm just like, look, I'm just a low-level filmmaker, and I'm just seeing if you could just read these few lines for just this one episode of this series. And she agreed to it until she couldn't. And so I had to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? And I just had like Joey Ranieri read the lines of the Empress, just because I'm like, okay, just read them. And he did it the most exaggerated way possible, and it was funny. And I'm just like, okay, we're doing this then. If there's no other option, this is what we're gonna do. Much to Joe's shame. But it worked out so well, and that was a very fun episode. And it also shows repercussions of what might happen in future seasons too, because I mean that insult is going to carry over, and to like say if they really have to go to Einar to warn them about something, they're going to remember that. They're going to remember that moment. The Empress is going to remember them. So I mean, there are a lot of plot points that do end up closing for season 3, but there are others that do stay open for that reason to carry it into future seasons if I so choose. All right, so how about here? I'm just going to skip this. So we have a Toothpick. I'm just kind of kidnapped, but we're going to skip this to where we're going to go to. Let's see here. And that's still like 20
Where
seconds.
are we going? Going on a trip?
Try to stop at beginning of season 6 here. I'm going to get right here to where let's just go to this. And this is where you really see high ground tiles at work here in this desert scene, to where you have there's not really any dialogue. It's just some of the party crossing this huge ravine, and they're going over bones, and aesthetically it just looks so nice.
It's so impressive. The shot looking up is I did
Oh,
record
me building the set. I haven't released it because I've just spent too much time doing other things, but eventually I'll do a behind the scenes video on how this set was built. And I think that would be fun. That'd be fun to show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that set piece is pretty great.
Yeah, no, I think it's one of the best ones that I did. But yeah, it took a few days. I think it took a good week to build that thing. Just to build it, not to animate it, just build it. Let me see here, and this set is kind of nice too because you have like basically a little like mine shaft cave there where Estevar is talking to Torin a little bit, and so we see that Estevar still has plans here. And that's kind of where like almost in like a Thanos type esque type quality, Estevar will be in and out. That character will be in and out of the series for, I mean, depending on how long I carry the seasons. I mean, there could be a few like 2 or 3 season story arcs for like 2 to 3 more times where you have Estevar like working her end game plan until eventually like you have like a 2 to 3 season story arc to where she is, you know, she's finally, you know, hatching her plans sometime in the future. Okay, I need a drink. I need a drink.
Hydrate or dehydrate.
Yep. So yeah, when we get to this part, and this really, I mean, honestly, I could have made like this. Episode 6 and 7 could have been the end of season 3, and then these last 3 episodes that I'm going to show could have been season 4. Really, to be perfectly honest, it's a lot of stuff. It really, but ultimately, I mean, you have these characters coming together. They're realizing that they got a Mara army at their tails, and you still got Karak to worry about. Yeah, at the same time, trying to figure out where. To collect all these prime elementals, where some of them might not want to be found, some of them choose like someone to bond with, and I really, when it came to the Earth Elemental bonding with Johnny Shotgun Sullivan, that wasn't my original choice at first. I first thought the Earth Elemental was going to bond with maybe one of the other Airborne Elite, but I think it just works a little bit better, and it kind of gives a little bit more character building to Johnny Shotgun Sullivan. He's more of like a woohoo, like I'm just gonna shoot first and never ask questions type of guy. I don't know. I think they like connect well with each other. Both are kind of quiet, yet they still have a lot of power to them. Honestly, like sometimes when I'm writing the script and I figure out the storyline, the characters really make the decisions for themselves. I really don't do much thinking. I mean, that's tend to be the way I write and I animate, because sometimes when I'm animating a battle scene, I'm not the one guy in the story. It's these miniatures that are guy in the story a lot of times. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, I write down there's a battle and this is the outcome, and I don't know what else, you know. And it's just until I start animating that it's like, okay, maybe this character wants to do this or that, and then I just go with that. I think I knew I wanted to do like a few conversations between Raylan and Tulbak Ra, and that might end up becoming a thing in future seasons where you have these rivalries. Especially, I mean, you have, of course, Sergeant Drake Alexander against Negok Saw, and people needed to see that, and they did. I thought that was that's a really fun scene. But you also have Negok Saw's rivalry between itself and the Airborne Elite too, because the Airborne Elite kind of ticked them off in season 1, and that carries over into these seasons as well. Even though the Airborne Elite, especially Lieutenant Dan, has no clue why he's ticked off. But yeah, I just love this fight scene between Raylan and Tulbak Ra. You know, you got the teleporter against, you know, this Kyrie, and you know, swing and a miss, but she connects to, you know, she wounds him. She wounds him once, you know, which is really hard to do with, you know, this futuristic Mara teleporter type guy. But yeah.
Okay, plan B. Plan B? What is plan B? Run!
And I think one of the hard things to do was to try and not have too much dialogue, so you can make the battle scenes flow, but again, not have too little to where people don't know what's going on. You know, in the minds of these miniatures, because again, when you're animating like inanimate miniatures, you can't really you don't have an actor to show the expression on their face, so you need a little bit more dialogue than you would if it was you know, real people. But I mean, trying to find that balance is hard. It really is. I mean, sometimes
I believe it.
I think the characters I still think the characters probably over talk a little, still too much. But that's me critiquing myself too.
You might be the crazy one here. Like, there's so many figures that are moving around, and that's just insane. I'm just looking at this, and I'm just like,
although
I don't have time for stop motion, so I admire that.
And I found the Ever Scar carvers, even though it's a lot of like special effect elements that goes into his ice hands, besides Tuobak Ra, and Tuobak Ra's effect is very simple, and Ever Scar carvers is more complicated, but it's so satisfying. It's almost as satisfying as Tuobak Ra's, his ice hand effect. It really is. And then these, I mean, like I said, anybody who like wants to invest in high ground and their stuff, I could not recommend them enough. Especially like these desert tile things, they just match so well in the scenery. They really do.
I mean, yeah, thematically for your story, it's so good. If by chance Heroscape wasn't gonna be revived in any way, like that tile system is the future of Heroscape. You know, like honestly, like that is definitely the way to go. It works very differently in a sense, but it functions just the same.
That 3D printer was working overtime really the last few years. I mean, because this is a lot of 3D prints. I have like literally 4 big plastic tote bins of 3D prints. And I still need to do more.
Once you start that 3D printer for the first time, it never ends. Your workload never goes away.
Yeah, until you got to do like maintenance on the thing. Right now, I have to do maintenance on my 3D printer, and I just don't have time for it right now. It'll probably have to be later on in the year, because eventually the integrity of those prints will weaken pretty terribly. But yeah, and then this. I like the conversation between Gimp and Lieutenant Dan and Evar, because they're trying to figure out, okay, who are you? And how Lieutenant Dan doesn't remember who Evar is. That just gives like a little bit of personality to these guys. Understand that, you know, they are from different worlds, really, and different generals they report to. Yet they still have, you know, kind of like the same goal at the moment. Yeah, and Josiah, what you were saying is like animating so many miniatures at once. I mean, of course, you're taking just a photograph, so it's like one step at a time, one movement at a time, and it's a matter of visualizing what, you know, the end result, and sometimes not even realizing what the end result is going to be. But you're just like moving, and you're thinking, okay, if I got 100 miniatures, and that's happened before, where I got like about 100 miniatures on the board, okay, who moves and who doesn't? And for that one shot, it sometimes takes a while. Like animating the first 10 minutes of season 2, that took about 4 to 6 months to animate, just because of the mass of miniatures that were used. Yeah, I'm not going to do that again for a long time, and probably hire somebody to do that for me. Okay, here's what you do, and you do it.
Well, most like stop motion productions you see on YouTube have like one or two characters kind of move
Right.
around, very stiff. You know, like Lego animations with that. But like it's exponentially more hard to do the more actors are on screen. You know, so it's just I'm watching this without sound, so I can just really kind of see the visuals, and I'm just like, wow, that's
So are you watching just the season 3 part that I'm watching on the screen right now? Or
yeah, just
okay.
on the Twitch right here. So it's
Yeah.
that's just I just wanted to like look at the visuals.
Close-ups are your friend. If you can cut to close-ups, as much as possible, just to keep everything flowing, it's good. Because even if your wide shot looks good, and I did like season 1 has a lot of wide shots. I didn't do as much close-ups. I learned that the tighter the close-up, the better. Because if you mess up on your wide shots, it's always good to have close-ups, because in post you can't really fix the wide. I mean, you can actually zoom in on the wide shots, but it's not as good as just getting close-ups.
Yeah, because I have it playing on a separate from the stream. So I'm like 2 minutes in on episode 7, and you have a wide shot with Kurok, in this like, sand gully area.
Yeah, I love this thing.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I know.
Like, my God,
It's
like
so wide.
I mean, really see the difference from season 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, oh yeah.
For your quality, and it shows how much of the skill that you've learned and adapted and created. I mean, watching you animate live at ScapeCon was just an absolute gift.
Yeah, well,
So,
I mean, eventually we'll do something with that video footage and do like a
yeah,
tutorial
we'll
and
definitely
stuff.
be talking about that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and then correct cliffhanger. Or actually, no, it was at a Kimoshi cliffhanger. It was both a correct and Kimoshi cliffhanger. I know. At the same time. Yeah, the Mind Shackle. See, and so there's another way of integrating, the stats on the card. So the Mind Shackle ability, even though it's a little bit different than what's on the card, but it's practically as similar as I can get it with these miniatures. So. And it's like, again, as miniatures, what are you going to do? Like, I mean, and I kind of show in this scenario the weakness of like Henderson and Geert and Lightfolly. And another element too, I mean, Geert and Lightfolly, they're two guys that they don't want to be part of this. I mean, Lightfolly kind of goes with it, but Geert definitely, he's like, I do not want to be here. But at the same time, they also have a code of honor to where it's like, they're not going to, even if it's people they just met, they're not going to let them be brutalized if there's anything they can do about it. So they kind of show their standard, during the scene as well. Even though, up against Kurok, they're toast. They are absolutely toast, and they're just up to the whim of somebody who might wipe them out instantly. And you also see kind of Henderson's frustration of being so weak. Hence why that's why I kind of decided that he's the one that was going to get the fire elemental. And I mean, there's a reason why Estevar kind of, talks to him, because she recognizes something in him, and there's a reason why he doesn't tell anybody, and I mean, this happens near the end of the episode, to where he doesn't say that he was given these glyphs by Estevar. He keeps it a secret, and that tells you something. A little bit. I mean, again, Henderson is a protagonist, but I mean, sometimes you have good guys wrestle with with good and evil, and I think Henderson might turn out to be one of those characters. But at the same time, he doesn't trust her. He doesn't trust her. I mean, I love this where I put the sound effect to where he's like, is like, and aimed at her is like. Yeah, sure you are. That's a good moment. But yeah, this is definitely really Henderson really gets his moment here, like save the day moment, and I love the shot to where he just like Kurok's there and he's just all powerful and just like, oh, I got it, and then Henderson just comes in and like, oh yeah. I mean, it's a classic trope from, I mean, you can name from many films, but I mean, I had that like shot in mind from almost, you know, when I was writing the script. And it comes out so well, you know. And it's like, and you see with the wound markers on Kelda, it kind of shows like she only has 1 wound left, because I think she's a 3 wound hero, and there's 2 wounds on her. 1 more wound, she's gone. So this is a very difficult situation, and so if anybody's familiar with the game, they should recognize that. They should see that. It's like, oh yeah, she's got 2 wounds on her, so she could be taken out. And then, I mean, with Karak likes to play with his food. As you can see, that's why he didn't wipe out, you know, Geert and Light Folly right away. I mean, he's got a monologue, because that's what Karak does. But then, okay, here's the shot. So, and so this is Henderson getting his due. Here. Here we go. And then, you know, you just got to scroll back with the zoom lens there and show what type of glyph it is, and boom. And there's a lot of shots you gotta do for this one shot, because you gotta shoot, I mean, the miniatures, you also gotta shoot the elemental separately to show it invisible.
Yeah.
And of course, that glyph, you know, the pit track glyph, we saw in season 2, so we already know Henderson had it. It just wouldn't have worked if, the only reason why it hadn't been used before is because it wouldn't have worked if Karak is in control of the elemental. That's why he needed that other glyph. And so that's what Estevar gave him, to negate that, that ability from him.
You are on fire. Wonderful. What did we miss?
Kelda, what happened?
We got ambushed.
And you can see here with Henderson, so, I mean, the fire elemental is kind of like a power that, I mean, it's wild. It's way more powerful than other elementals, and it's something that Henderson has to learn to control more than any other character that has an elemental.
What happened next? How did you survive?
Because I captured Karak and extracted a fire elemental from him.
But yeah, this little bit of dialogue here to where it's like, okay, we've gained, but we've also taken losses, and how are we going to regroup from this? And this also gives a story arc to Kelda a little bit more so than Raylan, and we've seen that throughout the series too, to where I can imagine Kelda's kind of like, I mean, not so, but kind of like the little sister to Raylan, to where Raylan's always, you know, the one in charge, and Kelda's just, you know, kind of in the background. But Jandar is really trying to push Kelda to have some role of leadership, because as we know, Raylan has that capacity for evil and to choose it. So I kind of integrate that kind of subtly in the storyline too, to where Kelda needs to find her own feet in leadership as well, because eventually it might just be her. You know, someday it might just be her. So, I mean, she's not as assertive as Raylan is, but she's got to find her feet. So we kind of see a little bit of that story arc with Kelda as well. So it's like, I try not to keep these characters bland. I try to give them some progression as much as I can.
I do find it interesting. Oh, I'm sorry, Joe, what were you saying?
No, I was just agreeing with him.
That you kind of took the airborne elites, which there's really not much, you know, character to them in the bios. Right. Or they're just a squad that happens to be there, and they all have very defined and unique personalities. You know, you can kind of point to each one, like, oh yeah, this one responds this way in a situation. They're not. There's no one in this in the animations that feel samey, you know, or overused.
Right. Well, and I mean, the one of the goals when I created the story is to give the squads that, you know, that really don't have personalities or names in the original lore, and to really focus on them, give them personalities, give them something for the audience to familiarize with. That's the bread and butter of the series, really. And I mean, when it comes to the heroes that you know in Heroscape, I just kind of gave them just a little bit something a little bit different than what you've seen in OG A Heroscape lore. Just because I wanted the series to be different, even though there are nods towards original Heroscape lore towards them, but I wanted to have something fun with them anyway. But yeah, the main focus is definitely on the squads that aren't given really any type of lore play. Kind of wanted to build on those characters, give the little guys a chance to shine a little bit. And then we have even Evar's got a little bit of backstory. I kind of find a way, since he's got ice hands, trying to connect him to it'll be revealed on Wednesday, and a lot of people already kind of know, can kind of guess, but to a character that Karak is after, the greatest prime of them all. And it's, in a way, Evar's kind of connected, so that gives him a reason to be there. He's not just there to be there. He has a reason to be there, because he's kind of part of this play as well, which is one of the reasons why I chose Evar as opposed to Onashi. Onashi really doesn't have any reason to be there, but Evar does. All right, so that is the end of that. It's going to replay again, so I'm just going to set it off. So yeah, and we're almost to midnight here. So I think that's a good place to end. And again, this Wednesday is gonna be fun. Like Wednesday, next Sunday, and then the Tuesday after. I'll repeat these: the 14th, so Wednesday the 14th, Sunday the 18th, and Tuesday the 20th. Wednesday the 14th, episode 8. Sunday the 18th, episode 9, and Tuesday the 20th, episode 10. And yeah, I still feel really satisfied with the ending. And like I keep on saying, you ain't seen nothing yet. There's a reason it took 6 months to edit it. And then
yeah, for sure.
A lot more to just animate it.
I'm pretty stoked.
So, any other questions or thoughts, you guys, before we shut this stream down? Thank you everybody for watching, for your comments, for sure.
No, Ryan. Well done. I am so stoked for Wednesday to finally see this thing. And seeing how the season wraps up. What surprises you may have for us, cannot wait.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun because you'll get some payoffs, a few payoffs, because you need that at the end of a seasonal story arc. You need some payoffs. You need some things to be open ended, but you need a lot of payoffs, and I think we're gonna see that. Yeah, I think we're going to see that. So, with some of these characters, just to complete some arcs. So, yeah, for sure. But like I said, we're just casually talking. We already finished the podcast a while ago. So, you guys don't have to plug anything. But if you guys do want to say anything else before we close, I do appreciate you guys for staying on for conversation. I think sometime in the future, I will re-edit the seasons. So instead of them being episodic, I will, or separate episodes. They're just going to be all in one full season, and because I think it'd be easier for people to watch. DVDs. That takes a lot more time and money.
I want my VHS box set. So help me.
I need the Airborne Elite. Standing on top of a figurine thing for the special edition.
That's a different can of worms.
If you bought the Lego movie, okay, it came with the Emmett figure. I needed to come with the Airborne Elite. Can we do that?
When you're part of the team. Okay. Actually, when we started doing the initial voiceover for season 1, that movie came out, and I was addicted to that song. So anytime anybody finished
It's still my ringtone.
Their initial voiceovers for season 1, I started playing that song. You know, that's even some of the behind the scenes footage of some of these voice actors I play with, because I liked the song at the time. Yeah, that's some funny behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. So anything else you want to say before we close?
No, I just want to say, great job, Brian. It's excellent work. I'll say you personally inspired me to get out of my shell and start putting myself out there just through your work alone. So it's impactful, and I think it's really meaningful in this community and the larger production sphere is large. It's I can see kind of beyond the meta layer, and I'm like, this is insane, the work you're doing. So just props there. I hope you enjoy your break that's coming up soon, and thanks so much for having me on again. I had a blast. I hope to be back again someday.
For sure. Oh yeah, definitely. I think you're a great guy to hang around, and yeah, we definitely want you on more. Joe, how about yourself?
But I already did my piece.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I mean, look, if you want me to keep talking, that's a different story.
Encore.
yeah, right. Encore. No, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it all. I mean, it's gonna be nonstop Heroscape content from the three of us. So I mean, I've said it nonstop. There is endless amounts of ideas and topics and things to cover about Heroscape, and I think what Ryan has done was, actually, I'm really glad that you didn't choose Lego. Like, honestly, this is great. Like, what a I didn't even know that was on the table until tonight. That you were gonna originally do Lego. I mean, everybody starts with Lego.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself like, oh, like everyone,
It's
but
insane.
you were right.
Lego is insane.
There's the arms you can turn, and the head, and the legs, and it's so much articulation, right. And then it's like, oh, that's too much work.
I know.
And then little did you know
yeah.
that once you got into the realm of Heroscape and you got, hey, you're gonna be so cool. Let's make the Morrow like I'm like some kind of enemy, and then oh wait, there's like, how many drones do I need to make the scene look good? Oh, how many stingers do I need? Lego doesn't seem that bad.
Let's drop about 100 Mario Warriors in there. We're good.
Yeah.
I will say, like I said, I was broke at the time to get Heroscape miniatures, but I was given, let's just say, an anonymous investor gave me a good amount of money to get the initial investment of miniatures in order to animate the thing.
There you go.
And I got lucky. I got lucky on some buys too at the beginning. But no, I thank you guys. And I was going to say something else. Oh, what was I going to say? I don't remember. It's late, but yes. Anyway, lots to look forward to, especially for those of you who are still watching, or if you continue to watch this later after this gets posted. Yeah, come join us Wednesday. It's going to be fun. We're gonna have a panel as many voice actors as I can get on there. It should be a fun time to be talking with these guys after a few, because I finished the voiceovers years ago. Like 95% of the voiceovers were done 5 or 6 years ago. It was just catching up with the animations and the editing. That was the thing. So some of these people I haven't talked to in a long time, so it's great to reconnect with some of these guys and just let them know what's going on and seeing what's going on in their lives. Because a lot of them weren't adults when we did voiceovers. Some of them were teens, some of them were kids. Now they're growing up or whatever. So it's and some of the people I knew have families of their own now when they did it. It's just it's crazy. But yeah, I do thank you guys though, and probably do something like this in the future.
If you ever need an extra voice actor, I would love to cameo or have any role if you need one. So just putting that out there. No pressure, but I would love to.
I have a list of people that I probably want to work with in future seasons. I will put you on it. You consider yourself on the list, sir.
I'm on the list. Mom, I'm on the list.
Yeah, but no, that's the point I was going to make before closing. The cool thing about the announcement from Renegade this week, that gives a lot of hope for the future of actually being able to do something with this. Not just mine, but your guys' channels and all our channels. That's why I'm really hoping it works and it can expand this community to not just thousands, but millions. And if that happens, then this is something that could be life-changing for all of us. It really could. So we'll see. We'll have to see. And I mean, I was telling Joe last week, when it comes to doing the ToV podcast and other things, we were preparing for rain, not knowing if it was going to rain or not. Well, it's coming. At least we hope. We hope it's coming. So
floods are open.
we'll just have to wait and see. And I mean, in my case, pray. So we will. And for all you in the audience, I'll shut this stream down. I'm not exactly sure if this will ever just be on the live portion of this segment. It probably will. So yeah, I'll end it like this, how I always end it. For those of you who are watching this on the Tales of a Hal YouTube channel, this will probably be an edited down version of what has probably been, I think, about an hour and a half worth of giving commentary on part of season 3. If you want to see the full version of this, either it's going to be on the live portion of the Tales of Hal YouTube page, or it'll be on the Conductor Productions YouTube channel, which should be in the screen in front of you, or a link in the description below. But with that, on behalf of myself, Josiah, Joe Crazy here, thank you for watching. Have a good night. Look forward to seeing what the future holds. You have a purpose in your life. Find it, pursue it, live it. We'll see you guys next time. Bye now.